Hello everyone and welcome to, welcome back to... What is this game? It's called Among the Sleep, that's the thing. I'm so used to these kinds of games having their titles splayed across the thing that for a moment I was at a loss, so... Indeed, welcome back to Among the Sleep, and this is a little bit of an interesting thing because first time I played this, I got it on the sale, I got drunk and I played this. And it struck me as being very interesting as a game. And that's why I wanna go back into it. I do wanna play it. I wanna get forward in the story. So I hope it's not picking up my gamepad too badly. But it has actually, I think it has recognized my gamepad as being a PS4 gamepad. Let's see. Well, it recognized that I do have a gamepad plugged in and it does accept button commands, but it doesn't move. Hopefully, yeah, there we go. That's how you do that, and that is... Wait, that's how you... Oh yes, because you are such a tiny person. There we go, and shift.
Well, this doesn't look too bad. I hope the memory is...
I'm just gonna turn the volume down just a little tiny bit. There we go, to about 60. About exactly 60. There we go.
Close by.
So the reason I want to come back to it is because, first of all, a lot of people seem to respond quite well to the game. And to be honest, I was intrigued by the game as well. Especially when compared to many of the other horror games that I've played, and especially compared to many of the other walking sims that I have played in the past. And with that, I think the reason why this works so well is the same reason why, for example, Soma works well. And that's because what they do is they establish the world from the first fucking moment.
It looks like another memory across that bridge.
So you know what the tone and you know what the world are from the very first moment, and I think that goes a long way to actually, giving you a sense of not only of the like fear, but also a sense of immersion, which I think with a game like this is very important. It seems to be some kind of a playground. So...
Is there a way up this tower?
I've no doubt. Press tab to open the inventory. So I've got so I've got 2 of those. So I need to go and gather 4 more. Okay, that's a little bit fetch questy, and oh Christ, I keep forgetting that you fall down if you run too long. So it is a little bit fetch questy. It's not too bad. It could definitely be worse. Oh dear, we've been locked in. Well, wait, how did you... Yeah, it was F to hold Teddy.
Shh. We should be careful.
I agree, we should be careful. So one of the things I did notice when I was watching the video back was that there seemed to be moments that were perfectly explainable, you know, through you know, going back and looking at them in the light of day. It's still a little bit fucking loud. I'm just gonna turn it down to there we go, about 50-ish. This time I'm gonna turn my actual audio down a little bit as well. So anyway, things that could be explained and things that could not be explained, and I think if there's too many things that can't be explained, then that's bad. There's one inside there, but we can't lift it because there's a rock on it. So one more, and I think I suspect that one might be in the... Oh no, it's there. It's obviously going to be there. It's not in the TP, which I did suspect at first it would be in the TP. Anyway, so like I was saying, if there's too many things that cannot be explained, use F to hug Teddy. Press F to play respects. To pay respects, not play respects. So if there's too many things in a game such as this that you can't explain away with you know, logic, then that means that I have broken the game. I have legitimately broken the game. I'm gonna have to jump. Oh, there we go. I just had to get the angle right to dismount off that log. So if there's too many things that can't be explained away as, you know, the child's mind reinterpreting things, like for example, that's a little bit hard to explain. It's not massively, it's not impossible, it's just a little bit. It's sudden, it's done because, you know, it's a horror game, it's supposed to be creepy. But, for example, there was the moment where... Okay, so we're here. So there was the moment when Teddy is taken away from us and put into the washing machine. So that, as a moment, is perfectly explainable, with a parent coming to take away the toy while the child is sleeping, and you know, to have it washed, because it, you know, Teddy was an old toy. He clearly was an old toy. He probably was in need of a wash. You know, all due respect to Teddy, he probably could do with a wash. So that's one of those moments where it's perfectly, you know, it makes sense and it's explainable why Teddy was taken away from us by someone and why Teddy ended up in the washing machine. However, with that in mind, what doesn't make sense is why the crib toppled over in the way it did. See, had it fallen on its side from that location where it was, I would have been, you know, more inclined to believe that the child would have, you know, the child had stood up against the side of the crib, and that's what knocked it over. But on the other hand, that clearly didn't seem to be the case, because the crib moved quite a bit, and it moved in a way as if it was pulled or pushed before it toppled over end. And end over end is very, very difficult. End over end is tricky.
Alright then, one more time. But that's it.
Oh, finally. We must be getting closer.
So this is, of course, this is a xylophone, and it is a xylophone. However, you can hear that the noise is metallic, but the striking boards are actually wooden. That means that it's a xylophone with the tone of a glockenspiel. Because I've been, you know, I have received knowledge from above that a xylophone is always made out of wood, and if it's made out of metal, it is a glockenspiel and not a xylophone. Now, whether or not that is in fact true, I don't know, but it is something that I would like to believe, because there's something right about xylophones being, you know, wooden. Glockenspiel, on the other hand, it's just a fun word. And who doesn't like a fun word? I mean, considering what a richness language is.
Find a way out of this mess. Your mother. She must be so worried about you. But don't be afraid.
Get fucked, Teddy. I'm trying to.
You and me will work this all out together.
No, thanks, Teddy.
I know we will. Well, you know the ropes by now.
Yeah, I did try to put it in already. But apparently I need permission from the magical teddy bear.
Yes, she sounds clearer now, don't you think? Oh. Come on, we have no time to lose.
Come with me.
Watch your step.
That's a good teddy. I've got a good teddy as well. Ah, that candle's a fire hazard. We should probably blow it out. But to tell you the truth, I am enjoying the atmosphere in this.
Place. I think we should keep quiet.
I am enjoying the atmosphere because the environments are really well crafted. And the game does look really nice. The sound design is also very nice, but I think with a game like this, it comes down to, you know, while the creaks and everything are crucial and important and all that stuff, an even more important aspect for me is how the place looks, because you know, we are very visual creatures. We see things and we interpret from those so many things, and with that in mind, seeing how these things look. Oh dear. Oh. Oh dear, that's a puzzle piece. It's also some macaroni art. Right, let's see. There's a man, or there's a person, and there's trees, and there's 3 pieces of puzzle.
Those floaty things, they look like memories. Maybe the next one is behind those roots.
Aha. Okay, so this seems to be a puzzle. So there's a woman and I'm gonna say a young girl, out on a field or a meadow, and hello, lady. Oh, so we are going into Super Mario 64 then. I like hugging Teddy for the light. It's actually quite an interesting feature. See, what I really want to see from this, as I go forward, is I want to not see the monster. I want there not to be a monster. What I want there to be is just the terrors that our minds can make for us. That's what I want from this. I want this to be that kind of a horror. I want this to be the horror of the human mind, and not the horror of some kind of beast going oogala boogala boogala. Oh dear. That is what I want from this. That is kind of, to me, that would be. See there. What is that man-shaped thing? It's just a tree root. And that's the horror of the human mind. We see things and we recognize shapes when we interpret things from those shapes that we recognize. Oh dear. But see, that's the thing that truly fascinates me, because you know, the horror that comes from something like that, the horror that comes from what we half recognize, and then we fill in the gaps. That's the kind of, that's not only does that use the power of the human imagination, that also just it speaks to me of good design. It speaks to me of design made with forethought. Because, you know, I have played. I'm just gonna quickly grab a drink. My throat is still very, very scratchy, so I've got a nice cup of tea here with me. Prince of Wales. One sugar and a splash of milk. I have played many of the, you know, the monstery kind of horror games as well. And, you know, when we talk about those, you know, let's say we talk about what would be a good, for example, Outlast, which is, you know, has this the very similar kind of look, but that's designed around, you know, witnessing the horror of the you know, horror of humanity in other people. In Outlast, the, you know, the horror of humanity is present, but it's viewed through other people. We see other people going insane. We start to question whether or not we are able to actually stay insane in that kind of a situation. Or in the case of Outlast 2, we see this religious madness, this religious fervor. And that's the lens through which we kind of look back at ourselves and our actions. But then there's game, well, but those are made around the idea that, you know, horror in those comes primarily from other people. Sure, they have the kind of couple of overblown monsters as well.
This place feels... Let's not dwell here for too long.
You know, there's the Scissor Doctor in Outlast 1, and then there's Master Blaster in Outlast 2, and those are kind of, you know, at that point you've reached already into the realm of absurdity. And you don't know. You don't know how much of it is actually the reality of the situation and how much of it is you also skirting the realms of madness. Then there's games like Soma, or Soma, or however you wish to. Soma! Or as the artsy joked about it, how you initiate a conversation with your mother. Soma! Which is a fair joke to make. But as I was saying, drawings on the wall. I'm gonna go with this is the old house. That was not entirely unforeseeable, but that was actually done quite well. So the thing that was with Soma was that they spent a good deal of time establishing the world. They had the plot of, okay, we've got these people and we've got this, you know, we've got the thing. I do not wish to spoil. Especially since I may be playing it for a stream at some point, so I don't wish to. There seems to be some kind of a well situation going on. Also, water seems to be a theme, so possibly a drowning? With the way the save states work, or the save works, I'm not quite sure if there are failure states to this game, like, you know, whether or not it's just a nice, you know, nice spooky stroll, or if there actually is something that will come and nab me. And I think that's a question that does cry out for an answer at some point. But as I was saying, the thing about Soma is it had the regular plot that didn't require the monsters. It didn't require, you know, the monsters weren't required for what the plot was trying to achieve, because the plot was about a different thing. But then it also had the monster plot, and the monster plot kind of didn't make as much sense because the monsters weren't tied to the mythos as well as the actual story was. So with that, you know, we had at the same time we had the monsters and we had the actual plot going on. And while of course, I mean, coming from the same studio as the Penumbra games and Amnesia Dark Descent, you know, it makes sense for them to have, you know, they hit on a thing that they know how to do. And that is what they are going to do, in fact. And I don't blame them for that. Because, you know, as we know from those of you, if you have played the Penumbra games, they are finicky, but quite good. This seems like a hiding place. And of course, Amnesia Dark Descent, for a good while, was the gold standard of horror and inventory puzzles. Well, not really inventory puzzles in that way, but, you know, these kinds of horror exploration things. And many games since have tried to emulate the same feel without truly hitting on that. So, I mean, actually, you know, go thinking about it, Amnesia the Dark Descent is one of the, or is it in fact the game that launched Markiplier's current trajectory, which is in fact very, very impressive. And I do really like Markiplier in that regard. I do like it when he plays horror games, because he does seem to get a lot of enjoyment out of them. Because sometimes he does get very memey, sometimes he does, you know, play stuff clearly because, well, it's popular, and you know, he has to make a, you know, it's the you know, the issue of his profession as a professional YouTuber and professional Let's Player. Well, I'm just gonna go hide here. So with that in mind, you know, having this in Amnesia, the monsters made sense because you had the sanity thing, and you know, all of that made sense. But then in Soma, while the monsters were, I loved the monster designs, very good, very interesting. You could kind of extrapolate how they turned into monsters, and what is the you know, what's the method in the madness, and see, stuff like that, where you can actually see and decipher the actual method behind, is very interesting. However, that unfortunately doesn't mean that the monsters themselves are interesting. And the problem is that since the monsters weren't tied quite that well, there were a couple of moments where the monsters were tied to the overarching plot quite well, because there was the whole thing with the thing. Oh, hello. So there indeed is a possible failure state in this. Well, what can I say from this? Monster design is okay because it not too monstery is the key there. Sorry about that. I am still sniffly, and I do try to avoid that, but this time I could not help myself, and I could not hit the mute button quite in time. Alright then. So what I want to know from this is what is the actual why? Why does the monster patrol? I want to know the hows and whys of the monster. Because without the hows and the whys, then, you know... Well, I got stuck there, but apparently so did the monster. Ah ha ha, no you fucking don't. I can hear your... Yeah, I can hear your soggy ass creaking your fucking way down there.
The next memory.
And there we go.
Ah, it's your book. Listen.
They had not read far before it started to rain.
Quickly, climb out, or there'll be trouble again.
See, the little bunny is climbing out of the hole.
I used to have this book as a child that I quite enjoyed, which was about...
I'm so glad we made it back.
There were these two little
hear
well,
something would
the
happen
two
to
little
us.
friends. There was some kind of you know, anthropomorphic. They weren't animals precisely, but they were close enough. You know, they were just, you know, humanoid things, and they were jealous because everyone else had a car. They didn't have a car, so they tried to build a car from cardboard boxes and stuff like that, but that didn't pan out. And
I've never seen anything
You know, because
like
they were so sad. I think there was some kind of fairy or something that, you know, came and gave them a cloud as a car.
It'll be so nice when we're through with all this, and we can play together all the time. Good. Another one down. Listen. We are getting very close to her. I can feel it. Oh, she must be so worried about you. Are you okay?
That's a good teddy.
I guess we have no other choice. Should we see where it takes us next? I'm ready when you are.
With this, I kind of feel like I don't enjoy the direction it's going in. I don't like that it's making the fears concrete. I liked when it had the fears be abstract, because abstract is always more scary. Just it is. That's one of the things about things. If you don't know exactly what it is that you're afraid of, then that's going to be ever so much more efficient and effective. Okay. There's lambs running on it. Oh dear, that was a crash of some sort. So, looking at the imagery before me, I reckon this is an attic. We are remembering an attic. Well, that can't be good. I just got an achievement called Bad Lullaby. And yes, I am indeed currently checking. You can't see the overlay, but I can. Bad Lullaby. Oh, this game doesn't tell you what the things are. Well, there's one thing that I know, which is that light banishes all fears of the night. Well, we've found the crayons now. That looks like a little hiding place. That looks like a little place where someone's hidden things. Use none to throw it. What? Ah. Right mouse button. This is reminding me very much of those adhesive, the little stars and the little moons that are so very common on the ceiling of children's bedrooms. I know I had them when I was young. And I would assume many of you as well, potential viewer. Also had a similar experience when it comes to those.
What's that sound?
I rather think I'm going in the wrong direction. Oh well. Off we pop then. Off we pop. Can't I just... Oh. Well, I can't, I don't seem to be able to jump. Except here to my death. Good. I know, I know. Well, at least I didn't have to solve the mystery of how to get back. I just jumped to my death. Oh my. How to get back without the thing? Is that a physics object that I need to actually stand on? Come on. I'm gonna go with no. This is! Okay then. And we open. Okay, so I do have a couple of hidey holes. But I think this is, more than anything, I think this is an obstacle course. No, I'm supposed to avoid breaking the bottles because that's what summons the monster. Well, now if I were to make a, there we go, in there, hidey. If I were to make a quick interpretation of what I'm seeing around me, and I would maybe draw the conclusion that dear old daddy might have been a little bit too keen on the bottle. Wait for the treble to go away. Right, go away. Okay, treble has gone away. Wait, that's the motherfucking toy from the start.
Got the final memory. Let's hurry.
Okay, but hurry where? Oh, hurry there, I assume. Alright. In the words of Michael J. Eisner, get fucked! Yeah, it's a code monster. Also, of course the fucking game couldn't be this simple. Oh dear, we're in the nothing.
Not now.
Not now. Ah, look, it's dear old Mama.
Now. I said, not now.
Oh. So it's Mommy who's sometimes scary as well. So Mommy sometimes has a little bit of a drink and turns scary.
Be quiet now. Mommy? Please go somewhere else. I'll just... He will not take you from me.
Oh dear, it seems that there might be a messy divorce going on or something.
And do what Mommy says. I'm going to be very angry. None of us want that.
I'm not very glad with the direction this is taken. Mainly because it's, you know...
I will find you.
There are some slight parallels to my life as well. And that is not a happy thing. It's a good thing I've got Teddy's ripped off arm to activate the mechanism with. My god, this is making me envy the dead. Bright light. And we've just been in the closet. Okay. The bed's not being toppled. That's all the things. That's the star. That's a puzzle piece. Those are the owls. Oh dear, Mummy's crying in the kitchen. With Teddy.
Stay away from me! I'm sorry. I never meant to. It's too much.
Okay, lady. Your problems are your problems. You need to take responsibility. You need to stop drinking. You need to stop blaming your fucking child.
Hi there, little one. Come here. Did you like your gift? What happened to his arm? Don't worry. We'll fix him up.
So the Teddy was the gift after all. So was Teddy the gift from the father, but the mom didn't want the kid to have it? Is it like a situation where I don't know. This is Well, the credits seem to be going on for about half the game's running time. There's a fair few Björns. Good golly. Well, we'll skip those then. Continue story, what happens if I press there? Okay, just starts it from here. Right, main menu. So, chapter, yeah. I didn't mean to do that, but I did. So, that has been Among the Sleep. Now you're looking at black screen because I did a silly. And it's been a very interesting, yet very confusing experience that truly has left me empty. Goodbye.